Welcome to Tank Radio. This one's for you, all the new hams out there. This video is going to be about some tips, tricks, and other things I wish I would have known as a new technician. Play that awesome intro video.
One day I was walking in the forest, and I felt like something was watching me. Little did I know, this little guy was. I had the same feeling here, at home. Then one day, we finally got to meet.
Well, hello there. Oh, hello. Don't be scared. Are you looking for a new home?
And we were happy together until one fateful day.
I got a new radio.
It all changed.
Why? The frequencies, why? Commercial amateur radios break down into three simple components. You have your battery, your main radio body, and then your antenna. For a hand radio, an HT, these components are in one simple package. On the back, you have your battery, you have your main radio body, and you have your antenna.
How I find a local repeater for the radio is I go to Repeater Book. There are other applications out there you can use for this. RFinder is also a good application. They do charge a yearly fee, and I believe it's pretty small, and they keep the information more up to date than Repeater Book. Just Repeater Book is a free application. Once Repeater Book is loaded, it will load up all the local repeater information based off your GPS coordinates on the phone. The first repeater on the list is a ULIS repeater. It shows the frequency the repeater is transmitting on, what plus or minus hertz that repeater is offset, and if there's a continuous transmission tone. If you select that repeater, it brings that information up and also gives you some information about where the repeater is located. From there, you take that information and your radio and program it into the radio. You can do it by the face, or if you use Chirp or another programming software, you can use this information to input it into the software. The first thing I highly recommend doing after getting your amateur radio license is to find a club. Clubs are a very useful place to pick up Elmers. Elmers are just like mentors, but that's what we call them in amateur radio because we gotta be special. And also a great place to pick up general information and knowledge about the hobby. If you're interested in a particular subset of the hobby, because amateur radio is a hobby of hobbies, as I keep explaining, because it goes to many different disciplines. Someone at that club is already tinkered with that, or knows someone who can help you to find more information about a particular subject, like satellites, or Arden, or hotspots, or DMR, or whatever other sub-disciplines of amateur radio there is. A great resource to find a local group is ARRL's Find a Club's website. I'll go ahead and put the link in the description, but once you load up the website, go ahead and put your zip code and tell it how many miles you want to look for a club, and go ahead and click search. I use ULIS, the zip code. Once it loads, it will show you all the clubs that have registered with ARRL and how to get in contact with them. For example, we'll go ahead and click Arlington, Then it lists what day the clubs get together, where they get together at, and then their website. It's that simple. So go ahead and do it. Find a club today, now. Well, after my video, but go do it.
Let's talk about national call-in frequencies. National call-in frequencies are frequencies that are set aside, one frequency for every band that people use to have a common calling frequency. So if you're out in the woods, kind of like I am, is a frequency a lot of individuals will be listening on if anyone wants to make a contact or needs help. If you're new to an area, you can use the national call-in frequency to contact someone to make a contact with who can tell you what the repeater information is around that particular area. They're very useful. One thing to note on them though, once you make the contact, get the information you need and get off of it, or decide on another channel to go to, because that's the frequency needs to stay open for someone else to utilize it if they need to. Keying up the repeater the first time. Keying up a repeater is pretty easy to do. All you got to do is key it up and call your call sign. That is equivalent to calling CQ, and isn't that annoying? That's also called chunking. A lot of people do it when they're testing a radio, and it's not really good amateur radio practice to do that, so don't do that also. Got to keep it legal though. This is KG5. Also watch for that. KG5AHJ, the radio test. If you need a radio test, go ahead and put your call sign out on the repeater and say radio test. Usually that's a good way to get someone to come back also and give you a signal report. But back to what I was trying to say earlier before someone interrupted me here. Calling CQ on a repeater, unlike HF, you don't have to call CQ. Just throw your call sign out there, and if someone's around and they want to talk, they'll go ahead and key up the repeater. This is KG5AHJ. Just as simple as that. We'll see if we get someone to come back. While we're waiting for someone to come back, if you do want to test a radio, key up the repeater, pull your call sign out there, just call radio test, and see if someone will come back. Let's talk about nets. Repeater identifying itself. It's also got to keep itself legal. Let's talk about net structures. In a net, the nets usually start out with a preamble. The preambles usually start out with, is there any emergency traffic? Please come now.
Are there any stations with emergency or priority traffic at this time?
That gives time for someone to come back if they need the repeater before the net starts. After that, there's usually a preamble on what the net is. Is it a common interest group? Is it a net group? Is it a traffic? And during that preamble, there's also instructions if there's a special way to join that net.
Welcome to the Dallas Amateur Radio Club's Lunch Bunch Net, where we will discuss matters of interest to the amateur radio community and other topics. We will have the question of the day, check-ins, swap and shop, and a local traffic /announcements. Please ID at the end of your transmissions. Not only does this let me know you're done, this is a requirement per the FCC.
After that, they usually ask for check-ins. Check-ins are very simple to do. During the time period that they say check-ins come now, you key up the repeater, or if you're on simplex, just key up and give your call sign. Then wait for the net operator to come back to you.
General check-ins, please come on.
Kilo Golf 5 Alpha Hotel Juliet. Nets are controlled by the net operator. The net operator is the one that gives permission, thinking like the talk stick. You can talk now. So only one person can talk at a time, and if everyone on the net wanted to talk at the same time, everyone will be doubling and it'll just be unusable. So a net operator identifies the station that is going to be talking during the time, and they'll come back to you and ask if there's any traffic, or do you have anything to contribute to the conversation if it's a topic net, or do you want to give your opinion?
Frank, this is Kilo Golf 5 Alpha Hotel Juliet. Frank, what's going on, sir? Today's survey question is, name your favorite station accessory, something you cannot live without. What do you think?
Well, today I'm coming to you from my house, my QTH here. I have my favorite station accessory. I'm using it right now is my mag mount antenna. Ask a amateur radio operator if he has opinions. You'll be there all day. Let's talk about nets. There are several different types of nets that you can join as a amateur radio operator since you just got your tech license. Woot! The first type of net is a group net. A group net is usually with clubs held a net together, usually once a week. Sometimes it could be once a month. And they get together and discuss some club businesses, or they discuss what's going on with the club and its general check-ins. Topic nets. Topic net is a net where a bunch of amateur radio operators come in and talk about a common topic. This topic can be anything from space.
Skynet at 9 p.m. to discuss astronomy, space, and space exploration. On this net, the sky is never the limit.
Cooking, and swap meets. I heard a swap meet net. Those are kind of difficult. With a swap meet, you pass contact information, then you discuss prices because, you know, keep it legal and stuff. But these topic nets are great nets to discuss something outside of amateur radio. It can even be about amateur radio. There's a late night movie net on the Dallas 8/8 machine on Saturday nights. They discuss old movies.
Afterglow Movie Net. What is the Afterglow Movie Net? Well, it's exciting, it's thrilling, it's fun. And sometimes it's bad and boring and not fun. But tonight it will be because we're talking about Star Trek Generations, a 1994 American science fiction film.
Then there are ARRL/RACES nets. These nets are for usually weather events or some other type of area of interest where a bunch of people are coming together to support something for the community. It could be missing persons, it can be a wildfire, it could be weather, it could be a hurricane. There's many different reasons a ARRL net will be spun up. A step above that is a RACES net. RACES is a group of individuals that come together and are called upon by the community, and you have to be a member of that RACES group to transmit during that time. If you hear a net transmit is a RACES net, do not join that net because it's only RACES members. If it's an ARRL net, then anyone can check in and give traffic and reports. Traffic nets. No, not this type of traffic. Traffic nets are used to pass messages from one operator to another to get that message eventually to a station or another person.
Welcome to the DFW Metroplex Early Traffic Net. That is a local affiliate of the ARRL National Traffic System.
These traffic nets are organized in such a way that they start by local area nets, and those local area operators will eventually take that message and pass it on to an HF net.
Our purposes are to move traffic into and out of the DFW area through the NTS.
Then that message will get filtered back down locally again to its endpoint. Traffic nets are pretty cool. What is Field Day? Field Day is a large nationwide contest. Canada does it too, which is that way, but they just, like they're everyone's little brother, they got to come along with everyone. Field Day also focuses largely on emergency preparedness and the ability to use and operate a radio in the field. Look where I'm at. I'm in a field. So we can set up our radios, use off-the-grid power, and to demonstrate that we can operate in an emergency situation. The contest does that by awarding groups of people or an individual, depending how you want to operate your station, with additional bonus points for operating off the grid, on solar power, on generators, outside in the field even, like we're doing over there. The point of the contest is to make the most contacts, then add in your bonus multipliers and see what your points is, and then everyone is rated on a national scale. It's a lot of fun. I highly recommend you getting into a group who operates on a field day station and get on the air.